Welcome to season 2 of Graduating Without a Plan. Can you believe it's been a full year since I started doing this podcast, and also 5 months since I've checked in? So has it been a full year? I don't really know. But hello, guys. It's been a very eventful 5 months, I'll tell you that much. I'd like to take a second to reflect on this past year, this 1 year anniversary. Let's really lean in and make it cheesy, because you know that's how I am. I love to be sentimental, which we'll keep to the end, right? I know no one really cares. But from the first episode, I will say my hair is significantly longer. I am equally pale. I also, just like last year, historically in winter, I am absolutely beat up by the winter. I am significantly under the weather all the time. Not sure what the ailment is. It's just this constant winter ailment that continues the second it gets cold, and then just one after the other until summer. It's I'm sick, and then it's summer, and there's really no in between. I don't know what I have right now. It's just my nose sounds like whatever, but I kind of always have a little nasally tone to my voice, which I understand, so it's kind of like I can get away with it. But yeah, literally all I've been doing this month is coming home, immediately putting my pajamas on. Like, literally the second I walk in the door, I actually take my clothes off, sometimes at the door, put pajamas on immediately, snuggle with my dog. I've watched 100 movies that I wasn't even really interested in. I just figured it's winter and there's nothing else to do. I haven't seen a friend. I haven't seen a family member. I'm letting my body go, right? I keep telling myself it's a winter bulk. And, you know, that only works, though, if you're lifting heavy and putting on muscle and then you shed it for the summer. But I have not put on muscle. I have just gotten weaker and weaker while also putting on fat. And I'm just hoping that by spring I'll look all right. So, whatever. So that's the update where we are now. But I'll tell you, since I checked in, like, August, I told you guys, I said it in you know, that episode, how I was really happy. First of all, I was tan in that. I was so tan. And just by being tan, I looked better. I didn't even have makeup on, I don't think, in that episode. And I just looked good, man. I didn't dry my hair. I don't know why I didn't dry my hair. That was dumb. But whatever. We do our best. But it was summer. I just didn't care. Summer, you don't care. My hair's wet. It's okay. The sun will dry. Whatever. But yeah, it had been a great summer for so many reasons. It had been a really emotional summer. I felt like I went through, I felt like I was 18 again emotionally, because things felt so real and so visceral and spiritual, which was interesting. But I just had a lot of fun. I mean, because in the beginning of the year, right, when I first started this podcast, without a plan, right? I had graduated and I had no plan, and that was very evident, and it was evident by the way I was feeling emotionally and physically. And are you leaving stuff? Oh, bye, Mom. Sorry, mid-conversation. Bye, Mom. That's my mother. She's going down to my aunt's house right now, who's making dinner. And I will be there shortly after this episode. Yeah. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so the winter last year, I was feeling just so down. I felt like I didn't really have a lot of direction. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, or I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know if it was realistic. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get there and make enough money and get health insurance and yada, 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 right? And it was crazy, because in that 1 year, so many of those problems worked themselves out, which is what they always say, right? You know, it just takes time and it takes whatever. But this was the year that I think years and years of me working to build something finally bared fruit, right? Like, I planted the tree in 2016 or 2014, but all of a sudden that tree was now bearing fruit, and it was evident this year, you know. And I had such a fun summer. I was singing at so many new places. I was out east a ton. I was out on like the far ends of the island, where I had never really ventured to, just because I just never did. And it put me on to so many new areas, like Montauk and like the Hamptons and even like the North Fork. I always kind of thought it was very isolated, and like, who, you know, it's nice for people who are older and retire, but like, why would I want to go out to the North Fork? And it just grew on me so much. I would love to live there, and my plan actually this summer is that I'm going to learn to surf. because I ran into another guy who's a bartender at one of the places I sing, and it turns out he's from San Francisco, and he's a surf instructor during the week, and on the weekends manages a brewery, and just like drinks beer and has a good time. Could you imagine? That's the life I'm trying to live. I'm trying to surf all week and then go and be a singer on the weekends. Like, hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. So that's my plan going forward. And that's basically how the winter's been going. Like, if I could give you a single update on how this winter went, or has been going, I would. But I summed it up. I have watched movies and gotten fat. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how... I'll wait for Apex Emy to come through. You know, 2020 Emy was like skinny and lean, and I was so hot. Or I thought I was. Bro. But she'll come back. My skin quality won't come back. I feel like I'm getting wrinkles. I have one gray hair. I pulled it out. I have one gray hair. Can you imagine? I feel like I'm getting fine lines. Everyone tells me all the time, oh my God, how old are you? You look so young. You look like you're in high school. I'm like, you know, I really appreciate that. When I was in high school, I had encephalitis, so I looked like a fucking tick that was sucking on a dog because I was just so inflamed, and I was on steroids and all these medications that I literally, my face was round and horrible. So look 18 now, I'm happy about, but I'm just hoping it lasts. So anyway, picking up where we left off, I just wanted to give a little back summary of the past 5 months, because the past 5 months were sick. Like I said, it was really fun up until the past couple of weeks, really. So in September, kind of like the highlights were I did a little weekend trip to Connecticut/Boston. I have not gotten the chance to travel much in the past couple of years because, well, multiple reasons, right? It was like, one, because if we're talking the span of the past 6 years, first I was really sick and had like tremendous anxiety about traveling. Then once I kind of started getting over that, I was in school, and then once I got out of school, then I was working full-time trying to grow my business, and it was like I wasn't going to take a weekend off if people were offering me gigs, because I'm like trying to establish reputations and like connections with people. So I just never took off, right? Like, so I was just working all the time, which is fine. I love my job, happy to do it, happy to build the empire, but it was a grind. So I made it a point. I was like, after the summer, it was insane. I said for the fall, September, I'm taking a weekend. And so I went up and I visited Davy Blues. I didn't tell him. Okay, so some of you may know Davy Blues. He's a TikTok friend of mine. He's from Connecticut. He's so chill. And if you know him, he's exactly what you think he is. Like, he's a very, like, chill guy. Like, that's really who he is in real life. I'm not going to out him, really, but all I'll say is when I showed up, he was not expecting me, and he had taken a little something before the show, and it showed. It was so funny. Davey, bro, I love him. So I was so pumped. Keep in mind, this trip was really, all my trips are always by the whim, because I don't know if I'm going to get booked last minute. So I usually try to keep things kind of open for change. So we had no hotel booked, right? I dragged my mom up to Connecticut. She likes Davy, so she was happy to go. But I'm like, I don't know where we're going. It's this bar or wherever in his town, yada, yada. We go. We pull up. And not to sound whatever, but it was like a little sus. Like, we pulled up. It was like this dive bar. I was like, frick, where'd I take you? My mom's in the car like, where did you bring us? I'm like, I don't know, girl. So it ended up being lovely, though. It was like, it's just a small town, hometown bar. But, you know, knowing our luck, you just never know. So, you know, keep in mind, my local bar, the Ale House, you know, I mean, I was there actually last night. And, you know, there's like a crack pipe on the floor. And my town's not even sus. It's just, every town has a sus spot, has the dive bar that, like, you don't go to, right? You know, whatever. So I was thinking we were there, but we weren't. I had actually a stuffed acorn squash, and it was lovely. Like, a dive bar doesn't have a stuffed acorn squash. Let's be real. So, anyway. Yeah. So, we hang out with Davey. We hang out with his neighbor, who is such a funny, like, old guy. You know, he's like, you know, brings out a big bottle of, what was it, Bailey's? A bottle about this big of Bailey's. It's 1 a.m. I was like, bro, we're supposed to be done drinking. What are you doing? He's, I don't know, probably 80. But he was, you know, ready to keep going. So, because we had no plan, we had no hotel booked. I'm kind of a go with the flow type of person. I said to myself, whatever, it'll work itself out. And that's what I kept saying the whole night. We'll just find a place. Like, what's the worst that could happen? We sleep in the car. P.S. Yeah, we ended up sleeping in the car. Davey generously offered for us to sleep in his house, which I thought was very nice. But unfortunately, he has a cat. And the cat, you know, he has an apartment that the cat was everywhere. It wasn't like, oh, the cat's an outdoor cat, or oh, the cat just stays in this room. It was like the cat was everywhere. And I thought, you know, I could sleep here, but I may not wake up, so I probably shouldn't. Steph and I ended up sleeping in his driveway, and he was so cute. He was like, I'll leave the door open, like, if you guys have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm sorry, Davey, like, I hope you know, I did end up peeing in your driveway, because I, like, rolled out of the car at, like, 4 a.m. and was like, I don't even know what day it is, and I did pee on the side of the road. But whatever, so, you know, that wasn't the problem, though. I didn't mind sleeping in the car. It was just freaking freezing. Granted, it was 40 degrees, right? Which doesn't sound that cold, but damn, is it cold when you're trying to sleep. And I've gotten cold to begin with these days, so I have on, like, stupid shit. Like, you know how everybody has, like, in the back of the car, like, the blanket that they put down in case they're, you know, loading something into their car to protect the car. Like, I'm using that as a blanket. I'm, like, getting gloves that were in the glove compartment from, you know, last winter or whatever, the emergency gloves. And I'm just layered up, clenched my jaw so hard. In the morning when I woke up, my jaw, I had a headache. My jaw was clenching so damn hard from being freezing, which, you know, it's just it's a problem I got myself into, and also a problem that I, like, you know, just so stupid. So we ended up going to Planet Fitness. I love showering at Planet Fitness. I do it all the time. Steph, I think, was traumatized because if you know Steph, she's just not someone who, she's like, I can't shower. She's like a germaphobe, like a true germaphobe. I'm not a germaphobe. Like, I'm very open on here about all my OCD and stuff like that. Ironically, I don't have any germ issues. It's like crazy because here I am. OCD is crazy because I will brush my teeth like for 50 minutes because I'm afraid like it doesn't feel clean, it doesn't feel right. But then I'll like eat Taco Bell and lick like the excess hot sauce out of the packet, like just suck on the packet that I'm sure 1.5 million employees have touched. So OCD doesn't make sense, was the moral of that point. Yeah, but Steph was traumatized because I was giving her, I'm used to this, so I was like, Steph, we didn't have towels, you know, naturally we weren't expecting any of this. We're using like the brown paper towels that are non-absorbent, so it's equivalent to basically just patting yourself with a piece of computer paper, and it's just, she's patting herself, and she's like, oh, I don't know, I'm like, this is such a third world problem, get over it, girl, like, it's one shower. So then we go on to Boston, because that was the initial final destination. I actually have a ton of friends in Boston. I didn't realize until I kind of went through the list in my head, and I started hitting people up, and I realized I have at least 6 good friends in Boston that I was very excited to see. So we're driving. We don't have a hotel set for there either. As we're calling, we're getting all these crazy numbers, like people are like $700 a night. What? Oh, keep in mind, okay, can I just clarify? We did try to get a hotel in Connecticut, but UConn was having some event. So all of the hotels in the area were sold out. So Boston, we were like, well, they're not having an event. What's the thing? But I guess Boston, whatever, they're just expensive all the time or whatever. So we were getting quoted all these crazy numbers after hours and Steph crying several times. Eventually, we got some deal at this hotel called the Moxie. I had never been there, never heard of it. I loved the place because as soon as you walked in, it felt like a time capsule of 2016. And if you that were in 2016, you know what 2016 felt and looked like. But it was like we got like a micro room. So it was this tiny little room with kind of like that open, you know how like the industrial style with kind of like the open ceilings with the pipes, and then like the walls were cement, and then the photos on the wall literally looked like they were taken by someone's iPhone 6. Like, it was great. It was just great. Something about it. I was like, I feel like I'm type. However, what I didn't realize is that the hotel, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, or if it was like just an unspoken thing, right? It's like in town, the same way everyone knows the dive bar, everyone knows the gay bar, right? Everyone knows the gay spots. Sometimes it's unspoken. It's not said, like, it doesn't say on the front, oh, this is the gay hotel. But you walk in and you're like, everybody's gay. And everybody looks like they're swinging, right? Like, this is gay weekend. So we walk in, me and my mother, and, you know, I guess the thing is, I consider myself kind of, I don't dress super feminine, neither does my mom. So, like, and as we know, my head is shaped like a lesbian. So I know I look kind of lesbian. So right off the bat, I'm like, fine, I'm a lesbian, right? Like, I'm fine with that. We go in this hotel. The first thing that comes out of my mother's mouth, we go to the front desk person, and she points to me, and she says, oh, that's me and my partner, M. So the person at the hotel, the front desk, is like, oh, nice, you know, whatever. Like, and I said, Mom, you don't understand. Not only do they think we're lesbians together because you just called me your partner, I'm your daughter. Say I'm your daughter. Why would you say I'm your partner? She's like, I meant my partner in crime. I'm like, then finish the fucking statement. You just basically said that I'm your lesbian, and not only do they now think I'm a lesbian, they think that I'm in an age gap relationship with you. I'm like, for God's sakes, if I'm gonna be a lesbian, at least I'm gonna date like some hot young lesbian, Steph. Like, why the fuck would you do me like that? So that was like a moment of it. That was like really the only issue I had. It wasn't that they thought I'm happy they thought I was a lesbian. I was flattered if they thought I was a lesbian. I was just pissed off that they would think I'm dating my mother, right? If I'm going to date a lesbian, it's going to be Rebecca. Like, so anyway. So that was the hotel in Boston. But other than that, Boston was really great. I say other than that, the experience was fun. I'm kidding. They had a donut wall. It was wonderful. Boston was great. I couldn't believe how much I liked Boston. I wasn't really anticipating liking it because I kind of thought it was just going to be a city, and I don't love New York. I've been to Philly. Philly's kind of fun, but I'm never really impressed by cities. Boston feels like such a small world, and it's so nautical feeling, and something about it was just really, really nice, and I would totally go back, and I'm planning to go back, and yada, yada, yada. I'm going to try to sing there, actually. And I'm also, if you didn't already know, a Revolutionary War history buff. It is another one of my hyperfixations. I'd be surprised if I didn't mention on this podcast yet, but I don't think I have. Wow, wait. I won't go down a rabbit hole, but I'll give a side note as to why I'm so obsessed. Multiple reasons. One being that a lot of the Revolutionary War lore happened on Long Island and very, very close to where I live. So it feels very close to home. And it also wasn't that long ago. I mean, 250 years is a couple of generations, right? My grandpa's 92 years old. He's almost 100 years old. So it's like basically 2.5 of his lifetimes. Like, it wasn't that long ago. So it feels very close and very cool. I love the style from then. I love, like, guys with long hair and ponytails and tricorn hats actually does something different to me. Like, a lot of people have that, you know, like, they go to Ren Fair because they want to see, like, a medieval guy, or they go to, like, anime conventions because they want to see an anime guy. I want to see a guy show up in a tricorn hat with a little ponytail and curls so bad. Like, I swear, sweep me off my feet, brother. Like, oh, God, that would do me different. That would do me different. But I'm not going to say nothing else about it. So anyway, send me to Colonial Williamsburg, you know, put me on. Anyway, yeah. So I love the history aspect of Boston. One of my favorite, actually, historical events in general, not even just relating to the American Revolution, but my favorite event in the American Revolution was the Boston Massacre. And I went to the site of the Boston Massacre, and I was like, I was on this tour, And they were going through what is it? Like, it's, you walk through. It's like this walking through the whole city. It's like the Freedom Trail or something. And it goes through the Boston Massacre. And another side note as to why I love the Boston Massacre so much. But I just think it was like one of the first examples of like how media propaganda was so influential and could completely change political climate, like, because the Boston Massacre was low-key such a floozy. It was all an accident. It truly was an accident, and it was proven in court that it was an accident. Do you guys know about the Boston Massacre? Can I just, if you don't know what the Boston Massacre is, basically there was some British soldiers who, there were these, like, patriot kids, and they were throwing rocks or snowballs and stuff at the British soldiers, and then they got in like a fist fight, and they were fighting, and a gun went off, and then all the other soldiers were like, oh my god, I guess we're shooting, and freaked out and started shooting, right? And and the media was like, this was like, just bloodshed and like blah 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 blah, and this is just as, the government going after innocent people and whatever, but it was proven in court that it was an accident. All the guys were acquitted, but it still completely changed the climate of the American Revolution, because all of a sudden all these people were like, yeah, like, you know what? You're right, fuck the British, like, let's get them. And Boston was such a center of that mentality that, the Boston Tea Party, blah, blah, blah. The Boston Tea Party was sick too. They were like, oh, fuck you, and the bacon. I also love John Hancock. John Hancock was a bad bitch, because he was just like a super rich guy, but he was like, he inherited a lot of money. Do you guys care? Wait, okay, let me just finish this one sentence and then I'll stop. But he inherited a ton of money. I'm going to do a whole episode about the Revolutionary War. So we'll just keep it brief. But John Hancock was basically like the Elon Musk of the 1700s. Like, he was flashy. Well, Elon Musk isn't super flashy, but think of maybe like a Kardashian. Like, he was flashy rich. Like, he wore like really fancy clothes, and like was just like a flashy guy. I don't know. I don't care. You don't care. You don't care. I loved Boston. Oh my god, I went to Sam Adams Brewery at the end of the tour. The end of the Freedom Trail tour that I went on, it ended at the Sam Adams Brewery. It was 12 o'clock. They opened the door. So I'm there at 11:50. And the brewery opens at 12. I'm standing outside. I'm like, well, I got 10 minutes. Let's wait for this brewery. I felt like such a lush. Could you imagine what I looked like standing outside the brewery waiting for the brewery to open? The guy opened the door. He was like, good morning, guys. I was like, thanks. Hit me up with a cherry wheat. Thank you. And I downed like 4 cherry wheats in about 5 seconds. Also a pumpkin ale, because it was that time of year, and it was so good. It was some of the best beer I've had. And I am a real beer enthusiast these days. I say it because I sing in all the breweries, and I taste a ton of beer, and I know exactly what I like now. I realize I'm a red ale girl, and I'm a blonde ale girl. And that's what I like. I'm not crazy about the IPAs. I'm not crazy about the stout. Like, whatever. I'm a red ale, blonde ale girl, and Sam Adams has some of the best ones I've ever had. That's just a side note. I should also do a full episode of how I would serve beers, because if I was a brewer and anybody gave a shit and I had any authority, first of all, the first thing I would do is a pumpkin ale sugar rim would have dripping in caramel rim. I want the sugar rim dripping down the side of the ale. You know what pisses me off more than anything? When I order a sugar rim and they dip it in a little water. It's okay, listen, sometimes they dip it in water and they still get a nice rim. I'm okay with that. I hate when they dip it in a little water and they do like a one twist. It's like, what? There's not even sugar on there. Like, I want to have to lick it off the rim. Like, I want to have to put effort. I want every sip that I have of that ale to have the rim. Whatever. But like a Blue Moon, could you imagine, hear me out, could you imagine like maybe not a blue moon, but like a blue moon. Why, like they put an orange in it. They should put a cherry too. I think a blue moon with an orange and a cherry would be insane. I think that an IPA with a pickle and some pickle juice splashed in there would be insane. I think that, what are those ones that are like brown? They're like black, the type of beer. Is it a stout? Someone's going to crucify me if you're a beer guy. But, you know, the ones that are brown, that they have like the caramely, they have like a coffee. Can I just Google this? Because this is going to piss me off. So, types of beer. Types of beer. What's the brown one? A porter or a stout. Thank you. I'm a knowledgeable person. So a porter or a stout, because they have like kind of like a malty taste. I personally don't like, but could you imagine a stout that you put a chocolate fudge, like say you put like chocolate sauce, like Hershey chocolate sauce, with a little like cocoa powder on the rim. Could you imagine? It would like bring out the chocolate notes. I think I need to open a brewery too. Anyway, I need to get on to the next topic because it's been 5 months and that was only month 1. So, whatever. I don't even know what else to say about Boston. I feel like a lot happened, but it was 5 months ago. I don't know. It was great though. I had a great September. It was really nice. I was still tan. Next. Oh, in September I also went to the Tyler Childers concert. And my song came out. My song, Bob and Joan. That was a huge thing. My song, Bob and Joan, came out September 30th. I was so proud of it. I cried all the time about it. The amount of love it got in the first, 24 hours was incredible. It got, 1,000 streams in the first 24 hours, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for me is a lot. And it was great. It was just such a high. And that exact day, I also went to a Tyler Childers concert. And I said to myself, I'm not going to go because I've seen Tyler Childers 3 other times. All 3 other times were great. I've seen him before. I don't need to do this again. I don't need to spend the money. I'm just fine. My friend convinced me to go. He was like, just come. And I was like, you know what? I am going to have FOMO if I don't go. It was the best concert I've ever seen. Out of all the concerts I've seen of him, the best by far. Also because I've drank the most. I was several beers deep before I even walked into the venue. But, God, it was so good. Something about seeing Tyler Childers or Childers, whatever you want to say, outdoors is healing. It's healing. He's meant to be seen outdoors. I saw him at MSG. I hated that. MSG is such a shitty venue because you're just so far away, and I just don't like it. But I saw him at 2 amphitheaters, and both of the times it was just magical. So I made a pact that if Tyler Childers is ever back in town and I say, I don't know if I'm going to go, actually drag me. Do not let me not go to see Tyler. That's a crime against humanity. That's called self-harm. If I don't see Tyler Childers when he's in town, it's actually an act of self-harm, and you need to get me mentally health checked because something's wrong. You know? Just saying. So, yeah. So anyway, it's the same, if I say, oh my God, I think I should go back to school and become a teacher, put me on Wellbutrin, because I'm not thinking straight, you know? I'm on Wellbutrin now. I'm not thinking straight. I go on Wellbutrin every winter, and I don't feel bad admitting it, right? We all need a little antidepressant in the winter. It runs in the family, right? It runs in the damn family. Irish people. Italian people are happy people. La vita bella. Life is good. Irish people, it's they see the winter coming and something in their DNA is oh no, do we have enough pratis for the winter? We may not survive this winter. Which, TBH, 2 generations ago was probably a genuine concern. So, yeah, it triggers something deep. I think, and that's maybe why I eat too much in the winter too, because my body is truly in I think we're gonna starve to death mode, when I'm I think we could go probably 2 weeks without starving to death, but you do you, babe. All right, go to Taco Bell another time this week. I've been qualifying for so many Taco Bell rewards because I got so many rewards points because I went. And then they're so smart. They give me a free $2 taco, and then I get another $30 worth of tacos, and I eat them all in one sitting. Yeah. Okay. Everyone's getting married too this year. My sister, my best friend, another friend of mine is getting married. I need to be skinny by this summer, bro. You'll see. You'll see. By this summer, I'll be skinny. Again. Ooh. Anyway, okay, so what else? Moving on. So then the song came out, then I did the music video. I filmed that in like October, I think. I was supposed to be like way earlier. It was supposed to be in August. But the kid, I asked this kid who I met one time at a Stony Brook event. And it was like I was passing out my card. I had sang at the event and I was passing out my card, just like going around, you know, shamelessly promoting. And he was like, okay. And he followed me on Instagram. And then I never saw him again, but I had seen him post, and he's a very, very talented video guy. And like just stylistically too, like everybody has their own style preference. And for me personally, his style was one that I'm like, if I were to make movies, this is probably what they would look like, you know? And so I ended up hiring him to do it. And at first I was like nervous because I've never hired anyone to, you know, do music video. All my other music videos so far were done by the gracious efforts of my friends helping me out. And we just kind of like had a good time and like swung it together. And this, obviously, when you're paying and when you're planning like this kid to come out from Brooklyn, there's a lot of planning that goes into it. So we ended up pushing it back like a month or two to October, which I think actually was probably a better move because I was just way less busy and life just made more sense at that time. And yeah, and the music video, it was one of those things that the song had scratched my brain to begin with. And it was something, it had been a while since I truly made a song that really meant something to me, and that like I felt like I needed to get this out. Because that's why I started writing songs. I started writing songs because I would write them about people and then send it to them. Because it was like something I needed to say, and I would just say it to them. And I felt that way this time. Like the song I wrote, I was like, I need this to be said to this person. I'm writing it, putting it out publicly. And I'm making a video for the same reason. And it was one of those things that watching it back truly encapsulated, I think is the word, that month or two of my life so accurately and beautifully that it's like a time capsule for me. And I don't give a shit if anyone sees it, because it only got, I think it has like 800 views right now, which is like nice, but it's obviously not viral. It's not where I would like. But for me, I would do it 100% again if it got no views, because just to have that piece of art that I can look back at was what I wanted. It itched my brain, and that was all that matters, is what I'm saying. But the shoot was so funny, because this kid, keep in mind, he shows up, he's like a little Timothy Chalamet looking ass, like truly, such an adorable, like, just like artsy guy. And I was joking, he showed up in like wide leg pants and a t-shirt, and I was like, I knew I picked the right person as soon as he walked in with wide leg pants. I'm like, this is an artsy devil, right? So he's also just so task oriented. I feel like I struggle with that. I struggle to finish tasks all the time. I mean, I was on it. I was doing whatever he was doing. But this kid, I mean, just things like, we would have a shot that was literally 0.5 seconds, and he would spend like a half an hour setting up the lighting, and then he would redo the shot like a minimum 50 times. And I was like, bro, I think it was good the first 5, really. And he's like, but it's not perfect. And I don't know what brand of like, I don't know. I don't know what that would be considered, like what brand of like perfectionism that would be, but I don't have it, but he certainly does, and it's what makes him so good, right? So we were literally up, we were shooting this video from like 12 o'clock in the afternoon to 1 a.m., slept like maybe 3-4 hours, got up again in the morning, shot more until 3 p.m. the next day. So it was like more than 24 hours straight of just this music video, and I don't know, it was worth it though. I think it came out really good, and I hope more people see it one day. Like, I hope it's one of those things that, you know, when I pop off, people will be like, oh my god, remember this video from like, they'll make like Tumblr style edits of it. of Emy McB when she was young, you know? That would be sick! I don't know. I think it could, though. If you haven't seen it already, go check it out. Bob and Joe, the music video. I think it's sick. And in the meantime, I'm recording a whole new album still. That's probably going to come out. It's definitely going to come out in the spring/summer, but probably the spring if I can be productive. I don't even know the word for it, but if I can get it together, it's going to come out ASAP. And truly, it's going to be the best album I've ever put out, obviously so far, because I've only put out 2 full albums, but I think it's going to be the best music I've ever put out. But also probably the best music I'll ever put out again. Well, no, I think I'll put out a bunch of good stuff, but it's like, this is going to be an album that is a culmination of like 10 years worth of material, because some of these songs I literally wrote in 2016, some of these I wrote in 2018, some of these I wrote this year, and it just depends. And so it's like I'm getting to pick not even necessarily the best ones of my songs, but my favorite ones of my songs, because sometimes I think this song would be like liked by more people, or related to by more people, but this song speaks to my heart the most. And I think what's the best about niche songs is that if you're someone who listens to a niche song and you relate to it, it's like, whoa, this is really niche, and I get it, you know? So I wanted to throw in songs like that too, that really felt like if they hit home for you, they really hit home. But yeah, I've been working with this guy. He's so funny, bro. And he's so talented too. I've met a lot of really talented people this couple of months. Yeah, it was whatever. Yeah. But anyway, okay, just moving along again, because I want to keep this moving, because I want to keep this under 45 minutes, and we have like 10 minutes left. So what you may know, if you followed along at all with me really this year, is perhaps the biggest, what would be the word? The most dramatic part of this year was in the last like 5 weeks, because in December, I had my big angel tree scandal. If you follow me on TikTok, you know. If you don't, I'll explain. Long story short, through my church, they do an angel tree gift, which is basically what they do is they hand out, you pick a kid from, from the local school, they have a list of kids whose parents are struggling to provide them Christmas gifts that year, right? So we donate some just additional stuff to help them out. So my church, I had asked, I was like, kind of, what's the range? Because I've been doing this a couple of years, and they're like $50 to, $80, like, just, like, a couple of nice things for them. And I'm like, okay. So, you don't have to go crazy, just get a couple of things. So, I love doing this. This is actually one of my favorite things to do. I love shopping for other people, and I love gift giving. It's, like, one of my love languages. So I go out, I always pick someone off the tree. I try to pick a girl, and I try to pick a girl who has like similar interests to what I did. So like when I was a kid, like I really liked art. I really liked, I don't even know. I liked sports. I liked music. I liked, all these little things. So I picked a girl off the tree who liked arts and crafts, who liked skincare, who liked, I forgot the third thing, but she liked McDonald's, she liked a bunch, So I was like, I like all those things, so I got you, girl. Like, I know exactly what you want. So I get like a cute little Bath and Body Works set. Me and my sister went to the store. I was in the store for over an hour just like smelling things, being like, what do you think? What do you think? So I got her Bath and Body Works stuff. And then I went and I got her, I actually went to the dollar store to get, I forgot exactly what I was going to get her there. I think I was going to get her the face masks, because that's where, like, she said skincare, so I went and got, like, face masks, because that's where I go to get my face masks when I go. And while I was there, I was like, oh, they have arts and crafts stuff here. So I didn't realize. So I got her, like, a paint by number. I got her some colored pencils. I got her drawing pad. Like, I got her a bunch of little cute things. A McDonald's gift card. And I kind of figured, like, I think it's more fun when you're a kid to open up a bunch of little things rather than like one or two big items. Do you know what I mean? Like, I liked to get a bunch of little things. So that's what I did. And I was really proud of it. And then I made a TikTok. The TikTok was me staring at the stuff. And the joke was, if you've ever gotten a gift for somebody and then you stare at the gift for a while and you're like, do you think they'll like it? Do you think they'll like, that's what I do. So I made that thinking it would be relatable in that way. Long story short, millions and millions, 7 million people watched that video, and they all were commenting, basically, literally DMing me to go kill myself because they were like, you got her shit from the dollar store, you're a cheap fuck, and whatever. So I was completely taken back when that happened, because I was like, what? First of all, I was really devastated because, like I said, I really enjoy doing the gift, and I thought that it was really nice stuff. So to hear that, like, I did take it into consideration, thinking, well, would the kid be upset, and would the, like, but whatever. It was crazy though. But so then I made a bunch of follow-up videos. Like, at first I made a follow-up being like kind of addressing the issue. People came down on me again. Then I made another video kind of like joking about it, being like, oh, whatever. They came down on me. Like, you just have to go look at my TikTok. If you want to know details, just go look at my TikTok. But I made multiple videos about it. And it went on for over a month. Like, the month of December, it was just every video I posted was like people being like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. So I was like, oh my God. Like, and it was whether or not it even pertained to the angel tree video anymore. Worst part was I had a song come out, my Christmas song, that dropped in the month of December, obviously, because it's Christmas. And people then were saying that I purposely rage baited the internet with the angel tree to then get views on my music, which I was like, that just feels counterproductive, because, like, why would I ask millions of people to hate me before putting out music? Like, that doesn't feel like it would be a great plan, and clearly was not what I was trying to do. But then it, like, extended to, like, long form content. Like, people were making YouTube videos reviewing me and all of my responses and all my videos, and like hyper analyzing and being like whatever, and then other like influencers reenacting it and making fun of it. Like, the broadness of how far this video went was unbelievable. And that's only the stuff I know, right? Because keep in mind, I wasn't tagged in like most of this stuff. It was just like either my friends sent it to me, or it like came up on my For You page, or like I actually just started searching my name and seeing what came up, and like thousands of videos came up of people like bashing me, bro. I mean, I had a couple of people who stood up for me and whatever, but overall the vast majority really just hated. And a lot of people, my friends, asked me like, are you okay during that time? And to be fair, I was. Because I think I've understood, I've had a couple of videos go viral in my time, because at the end of the day, like, I'm trying to promote my music for years. I've been posting consistently, trying to go viral, right? Obviously, I don't want to go viral and be hated, but like, I understand the implications of like, if you want millions of people to see you, you have to understand that millions of people are, like, not everyone's going to be nice, right? Like, so I also understand that the internet's not really a real place in a way, and it doesn't really matter unless it's affecting you in real life. And it wasn't, right? I was continuing my life. Nobody even knew about it around me. Except, obviously my friends and stuff who follow me, they saw it, or like people saw it on their For You page and like were like, whoa, but it wasn't like I was going out in the street and people were cursing me out, right? So I was fine. And then and I just kind of was like, let me lean into this and see what I can do here. And, though it was kind of like, this is terrible, I was like, I'm just going to keep doing me. And like, the people who like me will like it, and the people who don't won't. And that's okay. So I was fine, but there was like one day where I felt pretty down about it. But it wasn't because I was upset at what they were saying, because I didn't agree with it. Like, I knew where it was coming from and whatever. But it was sad knowing that many people were out in the world that were so evil and mean. And, like, when people are DMing me, like, go kill yourself. And I thought to myself, like, I'm okay now, but I understand why, like, young kids who get cyberbullied or, like, something like this happens to them, why they do, right? Because me, 10 years ago, if I was 15 or 16, and if this happened to me, and people were getting on there and telling me I look like Gabe from The Office, and people telling me I'm ugly, and people making memes telling me, like, I'm a shitty person, and, like, really coming at my character and hyperanalyzing, like, they were saying I look, like, they were like, you're autistic, and you're this or that, and I was like, okay, like, but, because I'm at the point where I'm like, I might be autistic. I don't give a fuck. God, I hope I'm autistic, because that would explain some shit. You know what I mean? But, like, me 10 years ago, when I was in a really vulnerable place, I don't know what would have happened. Like, do I think I would have killed myself? No, but I could see myself being very deeply hurt. And that's what's sad. Because I really felt sad for other people out there who experience this and don't recover. Or, like, whatever. So that's what was kind of hard about it. But yeah, but that was it. I feel like there was other points, like, the commentary I was gonna make on it, because it felt very surreal and strange. But it's, like, funny, because the same way it was so insane and, like, literally millions and millions of views on my page in, like, a month, like 1 week, now it's just kind of, like, went right back down, and I'm fine with that. I'm like, thank God, you know. But I don't know, I'm waiting for my next viral video. We'll see what happens. You know, I had a couple of them this year. I had one about Youngblood that he reposted. I had one about Cody Simpson that he commented on. I had one about cars. I had one, and then I had the Angel Tree stuff. I think I had one other one maybe that was, like, kind of hot. I can't remember. But whatever. So we'll see what viral stuff I come up with this year. Hopefully it will be a little bit less toxic and scary. But that was that. So then that same, so my birthday's in December. My birthday's December 17th. I decided after the whole Angel Tree debacle that I was going to go on another weekend trip, because I was like, you know what? It's my birthday weekend. Let me go on a trip. Let me get away from this. Let me whatever. Oh, I remember the one point I was going to make. This is the only reason I'm saying this, because it's relevant. How I was saying it didn't bother me unless it was actually affecting me in real life. The only thing that actually bothered me from this was that people started sending things to my house. So people were harassing me, saying that I should, it was like kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't, because they were saying I didn't do a good enough gift. But they were like, you should add to it, and you should let us add to it. And at first I was like, no, because that's, what? You know? And then people were like, if you don't let us add to it, you're being selfish and you're making it about you. So I was like, listen, like, do you want, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to, like, Venmo me, like, and I'll buy stuff? Like, what do you want to do? And someone suggested making an Amazon wish list. So that's what I did. I made an Amazon wish list, a ton of stuff, everything got bought off it. I put, like, a couple items that people had requested, everything got bought. And then apparently you can add whatever you want to it. So people were sending tons and tons and tons of stuff to my house. Keep in mind, people were all like, send proof that you donated it. I'm like, how do I show you proof? Like, I'm not going to show you, like, my church. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to show you I can't show you me giving it to her. It's anonymous, you know. And to be fair, the truth is out. I didn't give her all the Squishmallows. 20 Squishmallows got sent to my house. I did not give her all 20. I gave her one of them, and then I donated the rest to other kids. Crucify me, bro. Like, ridiculous. Oh, and that was another thing, the whole crucify. People were like, oh, you're comparing you'll have to watch it to understand, guys. You have to watch it if you don't understand. They were like, oh, you're comparing yourself to Jesus Christ. I'm not comparing myself to getting crucified, because I made a statement. I said this, that kept me sane. The same people that are relentlessly coming after me are the same people who crucified a perfect man. And what I meant by that was that Jesus Christ, whether or not you believe he was the Son of God, was just a guy trying to do right by people, right? He was trying to feed the poor. He was trying to, you know, he was washing feet. He was just a good guy. But the mob mentality created this mass hysteria that he was going to take over and that he was going to become gay and that everyone was afraid of him, and they ended up crucifying him even though he was just like a good guy. All he was a good guy, and they crucified him. So if the mob mentality can do that to Jesus, What could they do to me? They just see a bitch, like, buying Christmas gifts. Like, easy to fucking attack, right? And that's what I meant by that. So get out of my face. And y'all should be lucky that I'm a Christian. You know why? Because if I didn't care about representing Jesus Christ well, y'all would have seen the wrath of an Italian woman 10 times over, okay? I feel like I'm a really calm person overall. I feel like I'm really good at, like, not letting things bother. I genuinely do not get bothered by things. But when it wasn't, see, I'm going to calm down because I feel myself getting a little pissed off. And I did say some really hurtful things in DMs. Like, overall, I did not, but there was like one or two where I just unleashed all my anger at one or two people. And one of them was like a mother, because I couldn't believe how many mothers were on my page, like, vicious DMs. And I'm like, you and your child are in your profile picture. Your profile literally says, like, mommy of two. And I'm like, you just told someone else's kid to go kill themselves. So, yeah. Like, this one lady was like, if you can't give good presents, then you shouldn't do anal tray. So it's like, if you can't be a good person, then you shouldn't be a mom. And then I blocked her. Oh my God, that's terrible to say. That's really terrible to say. I said some other really terrible things too. This is really bad. Can you guys not judge me for this? There was this thing. Oh, God help me. God forgive me, bro. God literally forgive me. There was this one bitch who was also saying really vicious things in my DMs. And she was saying something along the lines of, like, if you don't have the money, just say so, blah, 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 blah. Her kid, this is terrible. She had a picture of her kid on her account, and the kid had, like, a horrendous mole, like, horrendous, like, birthmark or something. And so I said to her, if you can't afford to get your kid's mole taken off, just say so. Lord have mercy on me. It brought out the worst of me. I don't want to talk about it anymore, okay? I blocked her. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, so I went on a vacation a couple days later because I was obviously losing my mind. I wanted to go to Vermont really badly. My mom was like, I don't feel like going to Vermont. So she was like, let's go to Providence, Rhode Island. Who the fuck wants to go to Providence? I don't know. But it was another thing she kind of convinced me because she was like, there's historical stuff. And like I said, I love historical stuff. So I ended up going. We arrive at 4 o'clock on I don't even know what day of the week it was. I guess it was a Saturday. We arrive at 3 o'clock. We go over to have lunch at 4, or dinner at 4. At 4:30, we have a walking tour of the historic area by Brown University, because if you're not familiar with Brown, it's a historic university. It was built, I don't even remember when, but it was historic, like maybe 1800s or something. So the surrounding area is all like historic homes and yada, yada, yada. So we go on this walking tour. We're right down the street we're like at the bottom of the hill of Brown campus. All of a sudden, cars start going by. Someone gets a notification on their phone. They're like, there was a shooting at Brown. So me and like multiple other people on the tour, we're all from New York, and we're all like, what does that even mean? Like, there's a shooting every other day in New York City. Like, we don't care. Like, it's okay. We can continue the tour. So we continue the tour, and then someone else gets another notification on their phone saying that the shooter was not caught, and the shooter is on foot in the area. Keep in mind, if you looked in the GPS, we're less than 0.5 miles away from the building that the shooting happened. So we find out this all kind of after the fact. But we don't know. So now we get a notification that there's a shooter within a 0.5 mile radius. An active shooter with a machine gun. Okay. So we all take off like the fuck. We're like, okay, tour's over. Start running. Steph and I literally run back to our hotel, which was 0.2 miles away. Go in. We're in the lobby. The lady at the hotel, she had just dropped us off via shuttle to the area. She was like, oh my God, like, thank God you guys are back. I was so nervous. Like, I saw the news and I was so worried about you guys. I dropped you off, like, basically on the campus, like, whatever. And I was like, yeah. So I said to my mom, we're all in the hotel lobby. I took one look at her and I said, Mom, we gotta go upstairs. Like, what are we doing? Like, he could walk into the hotel If he's this close, he could walk into the hotel. So she was like, oh, because my spidey senses were tingling, and I was like praying, and I was feeling very like divine and weird, and I was like, something is very amiss in the air. So we get back, so we go up to the hotel. We're in lockdown the whole night. Helicopters going over, police cars all around the city, on the news blaring, you know, being like, everybody locked down, like, do not leave your house, like, blah, blah, blah. So we're all in lockdown in the hotel. And, you know, granted, it's like, you know, I'm calling my friends, because my friends are calling me who knew I was there, and we're like, hey, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, but we're here. Like, we are very close to this. Thank God we obviously weren't, like, in the school. Like, thank God. But it's a very harrowing feeling when it's like if your neighbor got shot and the shooter's on the loose. Like, do you feel comfortable in your house right now? Or are you kind of concerned that the shooter might be in your cellar, right? Or, like, hiding out in your backyard? Because you just don't know. And when you're in a hotel and you're away from home, like, you don't know kind of how the city's lined up. You don't know. You just, the key is, you just don't know. So, next day, after lockdown, whatchamacallit? So 3 a.m., we get a notification saying that the shooter has been, can I actually, let me continue. Wait, there's actually multiple news updates. So before we even get to that, the first news update was that they showed a video of the guy, the suspect, walking, right? So, like, and they were trying to get him based on, you know, the video footage. So keep in mind, again, like I said, me and Steph, and I can't really explain to you if you don't know the area, because I don't really know the area well either, but I looked at a map, and it was very scary, because, so there's, like, a main highway, like, say this is Providence, this is the main highway, and then there's, like, offshoots of, like, roads, and those are the historic buildings, and then, because this is a hill, the offshoots are going up a hill, and then Brown is, like, right here, the campus, and then all the streets are down here. So we were, like, we had walked over a bridge, over the highway, and we were eating dinner right here, and then we walked up one of those historic roads, and that's where we were on the tour, and then Brown was, like, right here, right? So we were, like, right there. And right after the shooting, we were right here. We were at the restaurant still, and the shooter came down from the campus, down one of the streets. After we finished eating, we could pick any street to go up, right? So we were like, let's go up this road. And then my mom was like, no, this road is less steep. Let's go up this one, right? So, and if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, I'm giving a visual right now, and I hope if I'm giving a visual it makes sense. But the point is, when we saw the video footage of him on the roads that he went down, we were one road over from him at the same time. Like, as we were walking out the restaurant up this road, he was one road over going down this road. And I was like, so what I'm gathering is if we had taken the steeper route, we would have literally walked past him, fresh out of shooting like 12 people and killing 2. So I was like, okay, like, that's how close. So me and Steph are watching this footage from the hotel, eating, like, a frozen pizza, and we're, like, gagged, right? We were gagged, and we were thinking back, because they were like, if you saw this guy, and I'm thinking, like, did we see the guy? Because we literally, like, we're on the same road as him. So I was like, did we see the guy? So we're thinking back, and I could swear, I bet you, like, if I had a camera in my brain, like, could, like, go back, I bet you we actually walked past this motherfucker, but whatever. So that was, like, the first update. And so naturally we're, like, on edge. We're like, oh my God, we were so close to this thing, right? Next update is at 3 a.m. They're like, we caught the guy in a Hampton Inn. Keep in mind, we're in a Hampton Inn, 0.2 miles from where the shooting occurred. So we're like, is he in our fucking Hampton Inn now? Like, what the fuck? Turns out he was at a different one. But then, so then we go to sleep. Next morning, city is dead. It's silent. That was kind of a bad word to use, like, saying the city is dead. But, like, the city was silent. It was so sad. Like, there was just this, like, overarching horrible sadness. Everything was shut down. You know, obviously all the events we had like booked, like, and this is a very selfish way of kind of putting it, but like all our walking tours are canceled, understandably. But my mom was like, so what do you want to do? Like, do you want to stay? And I said, you know what, Mom? They say they got the guy, but what if it's not the guy? You know? And everybody here needs to grieve. Like, we need to get out of here. We're tourists. Like, we need to go. We're not meant to be here. So we do. So we end up leaving. My mom was like, do you think we should have left? I don't know if we should have left. I'm like, I think it was meant to be. We had to leave. I don't know. We ended up going to like Mystic, Connecticut for the day, which was lovely. Mystic is lovely. I'm going to go back there too. And, you know, it was kind of like a weird silver lining because Mystic was really beautiful and it was a really Christmassy experience and got to meet Santa in like a little Christmas village. So it was nice, but it was still like, I didn't realize I was a little bit shook about that whole experience because I think it just kind of puts things in perspective, like how close you are to like disaster, or if things had gone slightly different. And I gave so much credit to God being like, oh, like God really came through and like truly protected us. Like I felt like there were so many little moments where God was protecting us. So, and to continue on that, so naturally we get home and what do we see on the news again? Turns out the guy that they found in the Hampton was not the shooter, and the shooter was on the loose for another, I think, almost week. He was still on the loose. So I'm like, thank God we got out of there. Like, thank God we got out of there. And he ended up shooting somebody else who I think was like a professor or something. So it was kind of like targeted, but still the point was he was on the loose. And again, I was like, my spidey senses had tingled. So we got to get out of here. I was right. And I just think God really protected us. And the silver lining of that whole situation was that I really got to see that more and more, how God really had my back again. But it was definitely scary. And of course, you know, I get home, my dad is like, you're being dramatic. Like, it was fine. You weren't at the shooting. And I was like, yeah, thank God I wasn't like a firsthand witness. But like, when you're in lockdown, a real lockdown, like, something happens to you. You know, like it's, yeah. So this all happened in 1 week. Keep in mind, I got canceled and also was adjacent to a school shooting in the same week. So it was a really crazy, December was crazy. And so now we're in January. We just started February. And then January was just recovering from all of that, to be honest with you. And exactly what I've said, just watching movies and whatever. So anyway, that's the update, guys. Can't wait for this year. I'm already booking music through the whole spring, summer. I'm making a point this year to collaborate with other artists. I've been saying it for a while, but I'm really have made active plans now, and I'm reaching out to people, and my album's going to be coming out this year. I'm going to be doing more traveling this year because, as I said, I think in my second or third episode of this podcast, as we know, I'm a little agoraphobic, especially in terms of traveling. And if you don't know what agoraphobia is, it's not the fear of leaving your house. It's just basically you're afraid of having a panic attack and being in a situation that you can't get out of. And I went on the train, the Long Island Railroad, twice last week. And then I got on the Port Jeff ferry, which was kind of like my final boss. I mean, actually the plane is my final boss, but the ferry was like my second final boss because it's where a lot of the agoraphobia, my first instances having panic attacks in public transportation happened on the Port Jeff ferry. So I truly was like, I don't know if I'll ever get back on the ferry. And I got back on the ferry. And the last time I was on the ferry, actually, I had a fucking panic attack really badly. And the crew members saw me in the parking lot freaking out before the boat was leaving. And the guy was so cool. I forgot. I think his name was Tom. But he brought me up to the captain's like quarter thing and let me like drive the boat. And it was just a fantastic experience. Shout out you, bro, because that really helped me and changed my perspective. And it turned out, I found out the owner of the ferry is a regular at one of the places I sing, and I had met him several times, so it was kind of funny. But, and you see that a lot of people, they want to help you and they want you to do well, like, so it was nice. But anyway, so with that being said, I felt very empowered to travel more, and I'm trying to get on a damn plane, and that's gonna be my goal by the end of the year. I'm getting on a damn plane. My sister's getting married in Germany. My best friend's having her bachelorette party down somewhere. I don't know if I'll go to either because I'm scared to fly, but I hope that by the end of the year I'll fly. Not even for them and their stuff, but for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would love to be at their stuff, but whether or not I get to their stuff, I'm not going to beat myself up because I've spent many, many years feeling guilty and feeling shame and feeling like a loser and feeling like, oh my God, I almost cried. Oh my God, I almost teared up. That's, I felt like, one, I was missing out on my life, but two, I was letting so many people down, and like, who would want to like be friends with me and who would want to marry me or like whatever, because I can't quote do certain things. And I'm over that. I'm over letting other people make me feel bad about it, and I'm over letting myself make me feel bad about it. And that's it. So this year we'll mark it now. This year, by the time I check back in next year for this podcast, my hair will be down to my ass. I will have flown on a plane. My album will be out. My best friend and my sister will be married. And what else? I'm gonna think about it. What's one other thing? I'll have learned to surf. I'll learn to surf. We'll keep those as definites. But other things I want to do this year is like, I want to get better at like Spanish and Italian. I want to travel more. I want to visit some friends in different states. I have a lot of fun things. Oh, TikTok too. We're going to gain some followers. I don't know how many, but we're going to get at least 10,000 more. I think is what we're going to do. I think we're going to do at least 10,000 more. So, anyway, thank you guys for being along for this journey, and can't wait to check in a month, and I can't wait to see what will be in next year if you stick around. So, thanks if you've seen the first episode, and I'll see you for the next one. See you later, guys. That was an awkward. Bye!